here is an unforgettable video that I want to get into. Now, this is 8 signs you're a Sigma male, so by the end of this video, you'll be able to find out if you're actually one. Now, the difference between the alphas, the betas, and all the other ones are displayed on this pyramid in this video. Now, there's alpha at the top, obviously, beta below it, delta below that, gamma, and omega. And no, these are not military call signs you're seeing before you. These are actually things that people believe. Now, this is the male version of astrology. This is exactly what that is. I, just like you, have probably heard of alphas and betas. The other 3 I have never heard of before. I'm assuming they're just completely made up and based off some stupid reasonings. But the way this video is talking is that the Sigma doesn't fit into this pyramid. They're the rarest type of male. Now, we're going to get into this video, and we're going to see exactly what a Sigma is. And we're going to see if we are a Sigma ourselves. Now, let's see what the first one is.
Number 1. You're comfortable being alone.
Now, here's the first point. You're comfortable being alone. Now, I'm no expert on the matter, but I do believe being comfortable being alone is very rare. Nobody wants to be alone. Everybody wants to be hanging out with people constantly. In an alternate universe, there are so many people who are comfortable being alone. In fact, there's a lot of people I know that prefer to be alone and have a small social battery that actually want to be alone. So this sign is kind of general and broad. Maybe they'll get into a little more in this video, but I don't think being comfortable being alone means anything, because I'm comfortable being alone, and I would not consider myself a Sigma male. So this is kind of a little too general, a little too broad, but we'll see what the rest are in this video.
A Sigma male is a lone wolf by nature, who's more than happy with his solitude and doesn't need another person to feel complete.
I just want to stop this right here. For some reason, the alphas in the Sigma male community, if you can call it that, really love saying that they are a lone wolf or an alpha wolf. When I hear people say that they're an alpha wolf or a Sigma wolf, I mix that up. An alpha wolf or a lone wolf, I assume they have some sort of mental problem that they're dealing with, or they're just a little bit too lonely. Or maybe they're just comfortable being alone, which is why they're saying all this. But let's keep watching.
Number 2. You are quiet and contemplative.
So being quiet and contemplative, it gets into it a little bit more, saying you like to observe your surroundings and think things through. I think, genuinely, this is the case with most people, that they just go around and they observe and they think. I mean, that's kind of like what babies do, is they just observe and think. There's really nothing special about anybody who does that. That's just called being human, and that's just being human. Like, this is the stupidest reasoning I have ever seen. And this whole video sounds like it was made by AI. Just the way the images are and the way that the person is talking and the things he's saying and the way he's wording it. And if it's not, I do that. You sound like AI. I'm so sorry. It's just how it is. And this video is kind of formatted like you would write, "How do I know if I'm a Sigma male?" in an AI prompt, and it would just spout all this garbage out to you. So let's keep watching.
You're not necessarily shy, but you're likely to be more of a listener than a talker. And because of this general reserve, your social skills may be a bit rusty.
This is interesting because it does say that being a Sigma male means that your social skills are probably a little bit rusty. Now, I'm no Sigma male myself, but I would assume if you classified yourself as a Sigma male, it doesn't mean you're just this loner in the corner of the room, like with your leaning up against the wall with your legs crossed and snapping every time somebody gets close to you, or even growling because you are a wolf. I think that you should have some sort of social skills if you are going to define yourself as a Sigma male, which is completely made up and stupid, by the way. But I don't think that, that just doesn't make sense to not have good social skills and to call yourself a Sigma male. Maybe I just don't get it. Maybe I just don't get it. Maybe I should watch the rest of the video.
Number 3. You're driven by your own internal compass.
Now here's one that talks about your internal compass, which it goes on to say you don't care what other people think. I have heard you shouldn't care what other people think so many times. I'm starting to care because that is good advice to not care what people think generally, because a lot of people don't know you as well as you do, and they have their own goals and agenda for why they're saying what they're saying. But it is generally good to at least listen to what people are saying when they're talking to you and do care a little bit, because there is some good advice somewhere in what people are saying to you, whether they meant that or not. And if we're just generally a bad person and other people are, trying to hint that towards us, maybe we should start to kind of care what people think. But how would we know what to change if we never listen to what anybody says ever? Like I said, generally, good to not care because there's a lot of haters out there. But also, you have to have some sort of balance where you can't just completely push everyone aside who has a difference of opinion than you, and just maybe listen to all sides.
Number 5. You're often seen as mysterious and enigmatic.
You're often seen as mysterious and... I'm not even going to try to pronounce that last word. This is kind of... this whole video is kind of centered around people who are just generally quiet, but they kind of romanticize being quiet. Now, there's nothing wrong with being quiet, because, there's some people who are just naturally loud, and that's their personality. Some people are naturally quiet, some people are a little bit above. Everybody's a little bit different, right? To put yourself in some sort of label, it will mean that you're not going to grow as a person. That's why I don't really get into the whole astrology thing the way you are. That's just how it is. This almost seems like self-diagnosing, kind of like how people do with mental issues. They watch a video like 8 signs you have this mental illness, and they kind of self-diagnose that, and they go around saying, well, I have this, whatever. Sigma male means nothing. You're not a lone wolf. You just happen to be quiet, is what I'm getting from this video. Every single one of these have been like, you don't care what other people think, you're mysterious, you're quiet, your social skills aren't very good. Now, this is describing me in high school, right? I was all of these things. Not mysterious, not that one. That one's kind of cool. But I was quiet, didn't have good social skills, didn't talk much. That's just how I was, and that's kind of how I still am. If it doesn't mean that I'm a Sigma. That doesn't mean that you're a Sigma. That's not what that means. It just means that you're just a naturally quiet individual. And I actually like hanging out with naturally quiet people. They're less draining to hang out with. Now, there's nothing wrong with being louder. That's completely fine as well. It takes a little bit more energy to hang out with those types of people. That's all. That's all it is. No matter who you are, you're cool. As long as everyone's working on their own personalities, it's all good to me.
Number 6. You are flexible and adapt to change easily.
This other one is you adapt to changes quickly and you are flexible. Like I said, this should be a trait that everybody should have. If you can't adapt to changes in life that is constantly changing, then what are you doing? You need to be able to adapt to changes. That's just kind of how life is. I mean, ever since you're a kid, things are changing. Life is changing, situations are changing, people are changing. Life is constantly changing. This is just another broad thing that everybody should be or already is for the most part. So it doesn't make much sense being adaptable. Obviously, that's a good trait to have, and it's one that you should have already.
Number 8. You are morally gray.
Now we have the last one here, and it talks about being morally gray, whatever that means. He said that you're not afraid to bend or break society's rules, especially those given by authority. Now, obviously, in a certain aspect, this is not an inherently bad thing, but it's also not an inherently good thing. If you ask, let's just say 100 people on the street what rules society shouldn't have, you're gonna get an array of answers. And some are good, some are horrible. It's just gonna depend. So let's say, let's say this is the rarest of all men, but let's say there was 1,000 Sigmas in a city that decided they didn't want to obey, or they even wanted to bend or just straight up break some of the rules in the city that they did not agree with. It would be chaos. It would be chaos. Not a super good trait to have if you're not super grounded. Maybe I just don't get the Sigma male thing. Maybe I just don't understand it myself. But that's about the video. There was a few I didn't completely touch on here. I just didn't want to. The whole video seems like a joke. Maybe it is satire, but I don't know. This was made 3 years ago. It seems like people try to put themselves into Sigma males, alpha males, just so they can feel a sense of belonging. To me, it's a little bit sad. I would never put a label on somebody like this, say they're a Sigma or Alpha. I think everybody has a different personality, and that's what makes the world so good. If everybody put themselves into these like factions, if you will, of Sigma, Alpha, Delta, Omega, Beta, whatever, life would be very boring, and it wouldn't be very, very fun. So, yeah, these are very entertaining to watch. If you ever get a moment, just Google how to be an alpha male, or YouTube how to be an alpha male, and you just have endless forms of entertainment that you can make fun of. It's very fun to make fun of this, and it's very fun to pick it apart as well. Anyways, that's about it.